Deep in the heart of California's ancient redwood forest, a team of scientists led by the intrepid biologist Dr. Harper Thorne made a discovery that would forever change history. Within the colossal trunk of the world's largest tree, a mighty giant sequoia, lay a secret hidden for centuries. It all began with a routine study, but as their drills resonated through the bark, what they uncovered surpassed their wildest imaginations. The tree held a secret so astonishing it could reshape the history of the United States. Dr. Harper Thorne had always been captivated by flora and fauna. When the government offered her team a chance to study one of the oldest and largest trees in existence, she jumped at the opportunity. Although the expedition was initially a standard ecological survey, Harper had a deep sense that this tree, this living monument, had stories to tell. She was unaware, however, just how monumental those stories would be. The scientists gathered at the edge of the forest early in the morning. The rangers had closed off this section of the park to ensure privacy and security for the team. Harper didn't mind. If they found something remarkable, it was better to have the area already secured. Their vans were loaded with equipment, everything they would need to study the ancient tree. The journey to the giant sequoia didn't take long. Despite the grandeur of the surrounding redwoods, this particular tree was impossible to miss. It towered above all others, its massive trunk stretching upward like a fortress, its width so immense that it would take several people holding hands to encircle it. Harper stood in awe, her heart racing with excitement. "This tree," she whispered to herself, "has seen centuries of history, and now we get to be part of its story." The team got to work quickly, starting with the front side of the tree. Harper collected samples of bark, sap, and fallen leaves, eager to study its health and composition. While they worked, the aftermath of a recent storm became apparent. Many of the nearby trees had been toppled, and some appeared severely damaged. The giant sequoia, however, seemed to stand unscathed. Or so they thought. It wasn't until Dr. Samantha Green, one of the team's botanists, decided to walk around the tree's enormous base that they realized something was amiss. Samantha had been inspecting the roots and trunk for unusual growths when she stopped abruptly. Her gasp carried through the air, alerting the rest of the team. "Harper, you need to see this," Samantha called out, her voice a mixture of shock and urgency. Harper hurried to Samantha's side. What she saw made her breath catch in her throat. The back of the tree had a large gash running vertically down its trunk, as if a massive force had torn through it. The wound appeared fresh, oozing sap like blood from an open cut. It was a jarring sight. This ancient, resilient tree, scarred by something unknown. "Could the storm have done this?" Samantha asked, her brow furrowed. Harper shook her head. "I don't think so. This tree has withstood centuries of storms. Something else must have caused this." As they peered closer, Harper noticed something unusual within the gash. The interior of the trunk was dark, but there was a faint glimmer of white deep within the wound. Her curiosity piqued. Harper grabbed a flashlight and leaned in for a better look. What she saw defied explanation. Nestled within the tree's fibers was something white, sleek, and unnatural. The tree seemed to have grown around it, almost as if it had absorbed the object into its being. Harper's heart raced. Was it a rock? A bone? Something else entirely. Whatever it was, it had been hidden in the tree for centuries, possibly millennia. "Don't touch it," Harper warned, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. "We need to document everything first." Samantha nodded and quickly grabbed her camera, snapping photos from multiple angles. Harper carefully collected a small sample of the sap surrounding the object, making sure not to disturb its position within the tree. They would need experts to help identify what they had found. Realizing the magnitude of the discovery, Harper made a decision. She contacted specialists from various scientific disciplines, archaeologists, paleontologists, and dendrochronologists, to join the investigation. Within days, a comprehensive research camp was established near the giant sequoia. Advanced equipment and facilities transformed the remote forest clearing into a hub of scientific inquiry. The arrival of the specialists brought a mix of excitement and skepticism. Some were eager to explore the mystery, while others doubted the significance of the find. Regardless, all were united in their curiosity. Under the towering canopy of ancient trees, the team worked tirelessly to uncover the truth. As they began their analysis, they discovered something astonishing. The white object embedded within the tree was not a single piece, but a series of bones. The tree had cradled these bones within its fibers, preserving them for countless years. The revelation sent shockwaves through the team. "What kind of bones are these?" one of the archaeologists, Dr. Miguel Alvarez, asked as he examined the images. Animal? Human? Something else entirely? Theories swirled around the campfire that evening. Some speculated that the bones belonged to an extinct animal species, while others entertained the possibility of a prehistoric human ancestor. A few even whispered about more fantastical ideas, ancient curses or supernatural phenomena. The team's initial analysis yielded few answers. Radiocarbon dating indicated that the bones were incredibly old, but their exact origin remained elusive. Adding to the mystery, the tree's growth rings revealed unusual patterns dating back to the time when the bones became embedded. Something had disrupted the tree's natural growth, marking a significant event in its history. Once the trees had disrupted the tree's natural growth, marking a significant event in its history. As the investigation continued, tension within the team began to rise. Some scientists advocated for extracting the bones to study them more thoroughly, while others argued that the tree's integrity should be preserved at all costs. Harper found herself caught in the middle, torn between her passion for discovery and her deep respect for nature. "I understand both sides," Harper admitted during a heated discussion one evening. "But we need to approach this carefully. This tree has safeguarded these bones for centuries. We can't rush into anything." Meanwhile, rumors about the discovery began to spread beyond the forest. Despite the team's efforts to maintain secrecy, whispers of ancient bones and potential dangers reached nearby communities. Some speculated that the tree harbored a long-dormant virus, fueling public fear and media sensationalism. Environmental groups expressed concerns about the impact of the research on the forest's delicate ecosystem. Harper knew it was only a matter of time before the situation spiraled out of control. She and her team faced mounting pressure from both the public and government agencies to reveal what they had found. Balancing scientific integrity with public transparency became a daunting challenge. The pressure mounted as rumors grew into media frenzy. News outlets speculated wildly, some claiming the discovery was proof of an ancient deadly virus, while others declared it evidence of a hidden civilization. Protesters gathered at the forest's edges, demanding answers. The government, alarmed by the public outcry, tightened restrictions on the site. Armed rangers now patrolled the perimeter, keeping both the curious and the furious at bay. Dr. Harper Thorne realized they could no longer delay. Transparency was the only way to quell the growing storm. She and her team began preparing for a press conference, crafting a carefully worded announcement to explain their findings without sparking further panic. The task was delicate. How could they share what they knew when so much remained a mystery? On the day of the press conference, reporters gathered at the forest's entrance. Cameras flashed as Dr. Harper stepped up to the podium, the ancient giant sequoia towering in the background like a silent sentinel. She took a deep breath before addressing the crowd. "Thank you all for being here today," she began. "What we've uncovered is extraordinary, but I want to emphasize that there is no danger to the public or the environment." She explained how the bones had been discovered within the tree's trunk and shared the initial findings. The bones, she revealed, appeared to belong to an unknown species. Radiocarbon dating placed them at tens of thousands of years old, potentially predating any known human habitation in the region. "Our work here isn't just about uncovering the past," Harper continued. "It's about understanding the delicate balance of nature and ensuring we respect the ecosystems that have preserved this history for so long." The announcement was met with mixed reactions. Some reporters seemed relieved by Harper's calm scientific explanations, while others pressed her for more dramatic details. Were the bones alien? Could they rewrite human history? Harper stuck to the facts, refusing to fuel sensationalism. Despite her efforts, the story took on a life of its own. Social media exploded with theories, ranging from plausible to outright fantastical. Conspiracy theorists claimed the government was covering up a global threat, while others speculated about connections to ancient legends. The forest became a symbol of mystery, drawing both curiosity seekers and environmental activists to its borders. Back at the camp, the team pressed on with their research. Days turned into weeks as they worked to analyze the bones and the tree's growth rings. Slowly, a clearer picture began to emerge. The unusual growth patterns in the tree dated back nearly 500 years, coinciding with a global period of climatic upheaval. This suggested that the bones had been embedded during a time of massive environmental change. But the question remained: what species did the bones belong to? Dr. Miguel Alvarez, the team's lead archaeologist, had been meticulously reconstructing the fragments. One evening, he called Harper into the lab tent, his face pale, with a mixture of excitement and disbelief. "You need to see this," Miguel said, gesturing to the skeletal model he'd been assembling. Harper stepped closer, her eyes widening as she took in the shape of the reconstructed skull. It was unlike anything she'd ever seen, vaguely humanoid but with elongated features and a cranial structure suggesting heightened sensory perception. The proportions were strange, almost alien. "This isn't human," Harper murmured. "And it's not like any known animal either." Miguel nodded. "I've run comparisons against every species in the database. It doesn't match anything. Whatever this is, it's something entirely new. Or very, very old." The revelation sent shockwaves through the team. If the bones belonged to an unknown species, it could challenge everything scientists thought they knew about evolution. The implications were staggering. Could this creature have been a precursor to modern humans, or was it part of a now extinct branch of life that had evolved separately, hidden in the forests of ancient Earth? As the team worked to piece together the mystery, tensions flared. Some members argued that they needed to extract the bones from the tree for further study, even if it meant damaging the sequoia. Others, including Harper, were adamant that the tree's integrity must be preserved. "This tree has protected these bones for tens of thousands of years," Harper argued during a heated meeting. "We can't destroy it for the sake of curiosity. There has to be another way." In the end, they reached a compromise. Using advanced imaging technology, they scanned the bones in place, creating detailed 3D models for study. The process was painstaking, but it allowed them to gather critical data without harming the tree. As the scans progressed, they uncovered an even deeper mystery. Embedded alongside the bones were faint traces of metallic fragments, evidence of tools or possibly even weapons. The fragments appeared deliberately placed, suggesting the creature had been buried, or intentionally encased, within the tree. "This wasn't an accident," Harper said, staring at the scans. "Someone, or something, put these bones here." The discovery raised more questions than answers. Who had buried the creature? Why had they chosen the tree? And what had happened to the others of its kind? The team was on the verge of rewriting not just the history of the forest, but possibly the history of humanity itself. But time was running out. Pressure from government agencies and environmental groups was mounting, and the media frenzy showed no signs of slowing. Harper knew they couldn't keep the site open indefinitely. If they didn't find answers soon, the project could be shut down, leaving the mystery unsolved. Late one night, Harper sat alone beneath the sequoia, the weight of the discovery heavy on her shoulders. She looked up at the tree's massive canopy, its branches reaching into the starlit sky like ancient arms embracing the universe. "What secrets are you hiding?" she whispered. As if in response, a gentle breeze rustled through the leaves, carrying with it the faint, haunting echo of time itself. The team worked tirelessly through the following weeks, unraveling more pieces of the puzzle hidden within the sequoia. The metallic fragments, once analyzed, revealed themselves to be composed of alloys far more advanced than anything that should have existed tens of thousands of years ago. The markings on the fragments hinted at an intricate, deliberate design, evidence of a tool-making civilization. As the data rolled in, the theories among the team became increasingly bold. Some suggested the creature might have been a member of an unknown prehistoric civilization, one that had reached technological heights far beyond what was previously thought possible. Others speculated about an entirely separate evolutionary branch of intelligent beings, one that had vanished from history without leaving a trace, except for the bones within this tree. Harper remained cautious. Theories were exciting, but evidence was what mattered. And yet, in her heart, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the brink of a discovery that would rewrite everything. The mystery of the burial gnawed at her. If this creature had been intentionally interred within the sequoia, what did it mean? Was it a burial site, a form of ritual, or perhaps an act of preservation? Harper pored over every scan and sample they had taken, searching for clues. Then, one fateful evening, the team made a breakthrough. Using cutting-edge laser imaging, they uncovered faint carvings on the inner walls of the gash in the tree mark, markings that had been hidden beneath layers of sap and growth. The carvings were crude, yet unmistakably deliberate, forming a pattern that resembled a star map. Among the symbols was a clear depiction of a crescent moon, and a cluster of dots that corresponded to a nearby constellation. "It's a message," Miguel said, his voice trembling with awe. "Or a marker. Whatever this is, they left it behind on purpose." The discovery sent shockwaves through the team. If the markings were indeed a star map, it meant the creature, or those who buried it, had an understanding of astronomy. Harper could barely contain her excitement, but the implications raised even more questions. Was this a clue to where the creature came from? Or where its kind had gone? But time was no longer on their side. The government, concerned about the growing public interest and the potential for unrest, issued an order to shut down the project. The forest would be sealed off, and all further research would require clearance at the highest levels. Harper and her team were given just 48 hours to pack up their camp and secure their findings. It was a devastating blow. They had barely scratched the surface of the mystery, and now they were being forced to walk away. Harper fought back tears as she supervised the dismantling of the camp, her mind racing with all the questions that would remain unanswered. On their final night in the forest, the team gathered around a fire beneath the sequoia. The mood was somber, but there was also a sense of unity, an unspoken understanding that they had been part of something extraordinary. Harper raised a glass of coffee in a toast. "To the unknown," she said, "and to the hope that one day someone will finish what we started." As they packed up the last of their equipment the next morning, Harper took one final moment alone with the tree. She placed her hand on its massive trunk, feeling the ancient wood beneath her fingertips. "Thank you," she whispered, "for sharing even a little of your story." The team left the forest, their minds heavy with the weight of what they had discovered. The sequoia remained behind, silent and unyielding, its secrets still buried deep within its ancient heart. Months later, Harper sat at her desk, reviewing the data they had managed to collect. Despite the project's abrupt end, she knew their work wasn't over. The star map, the bones, the metallic fragments, all of it pointed to a larger story waiting to be told. She resolved to continue the research, even if it took years. For now, the sequoia stood as both a monument to the past and a reminder of the mysteries that still lay hidden in the natural world. Somewhere, deep in the heart of California's ancient redwood forest, the tree remained, a silent guardian of secrets that could one day reshape the history of humanity.